Well, we're here at the top of the week. Okay, just Monday. Mondays are a busy day for me. I run a publishing side to my business, and Mondays is generally the day that I kind of get books out and hit the publish button, and then wait for them to go live so I can advertise them tomorrow and throughout the week. And yeah, so it tends to be a busy day, but I find sometimes like a lot of creatives that one of my biggest challenges is just knowing which plate to spin on any given day. I can get up and there are numerous different projects that I can focus myself on and choose to give my time and my attention to. And sometimes it is a matter of kind of just going to one, giving it some TLC, going to another, giving it some TLC or whatever else it may be. But I found it can become quite overwhelming. I know a lot of people in the creative sphere, and whether they're doing that online or offline, who are very much ideas people and also action takers. It can become kind of a little overwhelming sometimes, and we can fall into that kind of bright lights, caught in the headlights type situation, where we're like, there's so many different options that we don't know which one to do or which project to pick up at any given time. And I would love to say that I'm one of these like mega organized people. I would imagine some people may have the impression that I am, or some people may actually even think that I honestly am quite organized. I guess to a degree I am. I run a couple of businesses. We've got a busy household. We're homeschooling at the moment because of lockdown, and so there's a lot going on. Do you know what I mean? Where we've and we're doing well. So I'm clearly doing something right. But at the same time, do you know what I mean? There are lots of things that I could look at and I could say, oh man, this isn't working. Why is that not happening? Why is this not growing? Or whatever else it may be. There's all sorts of different questions that you or I may have concerning kind of how things are and how things might or how things should be. But truth be told, I do have to remind myself, and I encourage you to do the same thing. You have to remind yourself of the things that are working, and like give yourself, instead of giving yourself a slap in the head, give yourself a pat on the back and say, well, actually, there are some things that are working really well. And I want to share with you today, very much from just a very practical perspective, one of the things that's really working for me, and it may be something that you can kind of apply in your context. And that is simply that I've chosen to do a handful of tasks. Okay, I've actually got probably two or three tasks that I do every single day, and I'm not including prayer in that. Okay, I don't see that as a task. That's not that is not a duty. That is not a task. That is my life and my joy. I'm the one who benefits from that. I choose to do that willingly and gladly. But in the kind of day-to-day practicals of content marketing and creating value and putting value out there, there are a number of tasks that I do every day. Now, there may be others that I could add to this that would certainly enhance my results, okay? But there are just a handful of things that I choose and I say, I'm going to do this every day, okay? And it may be just by every day. Sometimes I do mean 5 days a week, like work day type tasks. And I choose to give myself options at the weekend. But those workday tasks are something like, if I complete these few tasks, then I win. Okay, that's as far as I'm concerned. Like, even if I had like these grand plans at the beginning of the day and they all go south, it doesn't happen. These few tasks are the ones that I kind of say, okay, whatever else happens, I'm going to do these tasks. And as a writer, one of those tasks for me is to write. I write every day. And instead of setting myself some grand goal of like, and declaration, I'm going to write 5,000 words a day or 15,000 words a day. And I mean, as noble as that sounds, I know I couldn't do it. Certainly not with my typing skills, or lack of them. So I set myself a task and I set the bar very low, okay? 500 words a day. If I can pump out 500 words a day, I win, okay? And in that, it actually means that it is something that I can do. It's something that I can accomplish. It's something that I can kind of tick and give myself the pat on the back and say, I've won the day because I've done my 500 words. Now, very conveniently, a blog post, a decent blog post, is approximately 500 words or more. And so I choose blogging as my avenue to fulfill that. And then through that, I then repurpose that content. Some of it will be turned into books. And then every day I also then jump here and do a live presentation, which becomes a video that if I choose to, I can upload into my Creative Academy that I have a membership called the Creative Academy that other kind of Christian authors and artists, entrepreneurs are involved in. I can sometimes upload it into there. I could upload it to YouTube, etc. In fact, I think YouTube, this already goes out there. So, but I also take this live, and really what I'm doing is I'm taking what I've written and then I just talk about it from my heart, share some of my thoughts around it. And so this goes out onto social platforms. And then in the background, if you were to be able to see what's on my computer screen right now, you would see that I've got an audio app called Hindenburg that's open. Other people might use Audacity or Logic or something similar, or GarageBand. I use something called Hindenburg, and that is recording the audio for this video as this video goes out. Once I complete the video, it'll be topped and tailed, output as an MP3, and that will become my daily podcast. Okay, now, like, nothing complicated, nothing complex, nothing particularly grand or like overly expensive. But those are the tasks that I've chosen to do every day. I will write, I will go live, and I will upload a podcast. Okay, if I do those three, I've won the day. Yeah, and anything beyond that, like, is just cream on the cake. And obviously there are other tasks that I need to do. I've stepped away from lambasting myself for not getting done all of the things that I think I should be able to do in just such a short period of time. Like, we have this weird idea that a day is somehow this elastic entity into which we can cram like 26 hours worth of activity into just the 8 or 9 hours that we can actually apply ourselves to do it. Yeah. And that's just like, that's a losing equation. Yeah. I much prefer to kind of, rather than I'm a big dreamer. I believe in big dreams, but I actually operate according to small goals. I believe big goals just tend to come and beat us up. So every big goal that I set, every big goal that I have gets kind of sliced and diced into small bite-sized pieces that I can chew on and complete in a very, very finite amount of time during my day. And so that means that my day kind of stacks up with wins. My day stacks up with, I did that, check. I did that, check. I did that, check. And it's also one of the reasons that I have a philosophy of sharing the journey as opposed to kind of reaching the the mountain peak and speaking from the mountain peak, like I've made it, like here I am, here is the accumulated wisdom of the ages going out to the world. It's not like that, is it? I've chosen that it is much easier to kind of share my stumbling forwards rather than wait until I reach some peak of perfection and then feel as though I'm in a position to kind of render help to other people. It's really the difference between being way over on the mountaintop somewhere and, like saying, come this way, come hither, hear my wisdom, and just like recognizing, well, no, I'm not actually there yet, and I may actually never get there, who knows. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to, wherever I am on this path toward fulfilling whatever creative call and destiny God has placed on my life, I'm going to reach my hand back. I'm going to take the hand of the person just a few steps behind me, and I'm going to help them up. I'm going to help them take their next step. I'm going to help them reach their next kind of milestone or plateau where they can then kind of continue their journey. And, this sharing the journey type philosophy is a great deal less demanding, a great deal less stressful, because at any given point, we're not thinking, oh man, I have to have everything together. I have to have all of my ducks lined up and everything in place before I write a book or create a course or go live or begin a blog or whatever kind of means, whatever vehicle of value you might choose. We don't have to reach some pinnacle before we actually begin to step out and begin to add value to other people. This is really like a Sherpa style journey that we're on, and you can be the Sherpa, you can be the shepherd that helps someone else take their next step. And as we all engage in that kind of generous walk and generous life, there'll be someone else ahead of us whose hand we can reach out, and we can get some leverage up to our next place and our next step and our next kind of plateau of understanding and comprehension that will equip us for the next stage. And so I just want to encourage you and ask you really, I want to be the person who's there holding the rope for the next person coming up the hill. I want to be someone who's ready to hold the rope and give it my strength to help someone else come up. And I believe that one of the best ways to do that is these small daily tasks that become your habit, small daily tasks that become like non-negotiables. Whatever else happens, even if nothing else happens, I'm going to get this done because this is important, I believe, for my destiny, okay? Whatever that may be, it's going to look different for you than it looks for me. And so, I want to ask, what's your daily? Yeah, what's your daily task? Not your massive, big, hairy, audacious goal that's just seems like an impossible dream. What is it once you put it through the slicer? What is it once you put it through the mince machine and just take that little bit, okay, and say, okay, these are the daily tasks that I can do that will lead me towards the fulfillment of that big, hairy, audacious, whatever it may be. Yeah. And when you begin to nail those down, when you begin to put them in place, I tell you, you will be amazed at the progress that you make. Some people, like I say, get caught in the headlights. They get caught in this a place of overwhelm because they have like this mountainous dream, desire, vision, and goal way out ahead of them. But they never actually just track back and say, well, fair enough, I may not be there yet, but I am here. what can I do right here, right now, today? And what could I do each day? What can I do every day? What individual tasks could I undertake each day that will keep my kind of momentum and keep my direction moving forward toward whatever the big goal is. And the truth is, we can have all of these ideas and big goals and visions, etc. And I'm a visionary person. I believe in that. But the truth is, we just never know what's coming, okay? We never know what kind of challenges are going to sideswipe us or what discoveries we are going to make along the way that really just kind of demand or encourage us to pivot into something else. Yeah, and so understanding that each part and each leg of the journey has its own nature, has its own challenges, has its own benefits and things that you will do and things that you will learn. But, although we have an idea where we might be going, we may be surprised along the way to discover that, the mountaintop that we were aiming for actually is not where we want to go or where we're destined to end up after all. Maybe it's some other place of influence. And I never, ever, ever, ever imagined that I would go into business. And yet I get a lot of satisfaction out of building a lifestyle business, out of building a value-adding business that helps other people. I've gained tremendous satisfaction from that. And yet, like back in the day when we were out in the trenches, planting churches, pastoring churches, preaching on the streets, all of that good stuff, I could never have really even pictured this mountain. But as we've taken our journey, you take your journey and you kind of go up the incline, you get to a certain point and suddenly you can see the vista opens up further and you see, wow, there's actually a range of peaks here. There's actually more than I even envisioned. There's more possibilities and opportunities than I'd originally understood. And who knows where the Holy Ghost will take you. And that's why I encourage you, don't get so caught up on this is the outcome that must happen for me to be fulfilled or satisfied or to walk and stand in my destiny. Instead, just understand that, man, the journey is to it, and understand what I'm saying here. The journey is the destination. You are right where you need to be right now. And right now, there are actions that you can take today, tomorrow, the next day that are going to keep you moving forward until you see more, until you experience more, until you can handle more and take a hold of more. And in that, okay, part of that process is also being willing to turn around, put your hand behind you and look for someone else and say, hey, I've taken that step. I've taken that step that you are looking to take. I've climbed that part of the mountain. Let me give some of my strength. Let me give you some leverage from what I've learned, and let me help you to fulfill what God has put in your heart. And I can promise you, as you give, it will be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over.